decades, the media has been feigning moral outrage when it comes to allegations against Republicans while defending year in and year out those Democrats who have been accused of doing far worse, a massive double standard. And tonight there is a new allegation against Franken. A second woman is now accusing Democratic Senator Al Franken of sexual misconduct. The woman is alleging that during a 2010 state fair in Minnesota, Senator Franken grabbed her behind while the two were posing for a picture. The woman also posted the picture on Facebook and later responded to a comment about this, writing, quote, "Al Franken totally molested me, creeper." Now, keep in mind, this is 2 years into Franken's first term as a U.S. Senator. Now, Senator Franken is responding to the latest allegations by saying, well, he takes thousands of pictures with people. He doesn't remember this specific incident. And Senator Groper added that he feels badly that the woman felt disrespected by their interaction. Now, we did reach out to Senator Franken for a statement, but his office, shockingly, refuses to get back to us. Unfortunately, none of this should really be all that surprising. This is the same guy who made jokes, nobody else in the media will talk about it, about drugging and raping women. Joke? Who does this? And last week, Franken was accused of sexual misconduct by radio host Leanne Tweeden. And Tweeden revealed explosive information about Senator Franken last week, according to her, during a 2006 USO tour. Franken forcibly kissed her while supposedly rehearsing a skit backstage. There's also this photo of Franken groping Tweeden while she was asleep on a flight. Now, Leanne Tweeden says she didn't even know that happened until after she got home and started looking through pictures of that trip. Franken did issue an apology, but claims he doesn't remember the kissing incident backstage. Senator Franken is also being accused of harassing yet another woman, Melanie Morgan, radio TV personality, co-founder of the website Media Equalizer. She's accusing Franken of harassing her on the phone. This allegedly happened after they got into an on-air argument during an appearance on Bill Maher's old show, Politically Incorrect, back in 2000. And Melanie Morgan says she had to threaten to call the police to get Franken to stop, which he did. Now, despite all of that, some members of the media, well, they're making excuses for Al Franken, even tonight. Take a look.
There's a new report that Senator Al Franken grabbed a woman's behind at a fair back in 2010. He says he doesn't remember doing it. We're going to start to go after everyone in every power industry for something like a butt slap. I'm worried that there's going to be no one left running anything.
Yeah, that may be true.
To ask him to resign, I don't know if that's the appropriate response either. I mean, no senator has been asked to resign ever.
We've also, I think, unfortunately, slowly slid culturally into a moment when forgiveness is now married to ideology. If you're a conservative, and Bill Clinton, or Al Franken, get him out or get her.
Right.
He took a picture, which his office now says was a joke, that showed him potentially not actually groping, but mock groping her. She also published a picture that was given to her of her asleep with Senator Franken, mock groping her.
Excuse me, in the case of Leanne Tweeden, there's the evidence. It's all there. Franken's not even denying it. It just shows how low the mainstream media, Democrats, are willing to go to defend people that suit their ideology, like Franken. And what the mainstream media won't tell you is that Franken has been sick and twisted for years. For example, he was on Saturday Night Live, 1995. He suggested a skit about drugging and raping Leslie Stahl of 60 Minutes. He said, quote, well, I give the pills to Leslie Stahl, then when Leslie's passed out, I take her to the closet and rape her. Or that's why you never see Leslie until February. When she passes out, I put her in various positions and take pictures of her. It's creepy. Supposed to be funny? And in 2000, Franken, he wrote a satirical article for Playboy magazine, the headline, Pornorama. The vast majority of what Franken wrote, we can't even repeat on TV, but in one part, Franken wrote, quote, I'm talking, of course, about the internet, which is a terrific learning tool. For example, a couple of years ago, when he was 12, my son, he used the internet for a 6th grade report on bestiality. Then in 2008, when Franken was running for the Senate, he actually apologized for the comments we just showed you. But it turns out Franken was lying. How do we know? Because in his new book, Franken says he faked the apologies in order to win votes. He writes, quote, to say I was sorry for writing a joke was to sell out my career, to sell out who I'd been my entire life, and I wasn't sorry. What I had written, Pornorama, or pitched that stupid Leslie Stahl joke at 2 in the morning, I was just doing my job. Oh, his apologies aren't real. Then there's the Clintons. Now, For those of you in the mainstream media, pay attention. Why is this important? Because for 30 years, 30 Democrats on behalf of the Clintons have smeared, slandered, besmirched, victim-shamed anyone and everyone who dared to tell what turned out to be the truth about Bill Clinton. And the media has always been their willing accomplices in and out this. They have been complicit up to and including through last year. The only reason now some in the political world are finally starting to acknowledge what Clinton did is because Bill and Hillary Clinton are no longer important. So now that it's politically expedient, now that they can't hurt them, the Clintons that is, well, members of the media, even some, but only some, are only beginning to start to call out the deplorable behavior. So it's not about principle for them, it's about, well, from 1991 until 2016, the media defends the Clintons on everything, regardless of how damaging or disgraceful the allegations were. And, well, they can do it now. They can say, well, maybe it wasn't right, but I believe Juanita. Well, Hillary Clinton continues to smear, slander, besmirch her husband's accuser today. Just take a listen to the latest attack by Hillary.
Look, I think every situation has to be judged on its own merit. I think it's unfortunate that people are either misremembering or misinterpreting history.
Really? Every one of those women, they're misremembering Hillary? Well, what happened to believing, as Hillary told us in an election year, women when they do come forward? Remember this.
Today I want to send a message to every survivor of sexual assault. Don't let anyone silence your voice. You have the right to be heard. You have the right to be believed, and we're with you. Right to be believed? You're with them? Does Hillary Clinton really think that the women who have accused her husband of sexual misconduct and even rape, they're actually misremembering what Bill did to them? Hillary herself orchestrated a campaign to discredit and destroy all of them. And here's what the media said about the Clintons' accusers just last year during the election. Take a look.
The rape accusation is decades old and discredited.
Only in the sort of the mind of some sort of movie writer of a third world democracy or dictatorship would you have a candidate publicly humiliate a former occupant of that office by parading all of these other people around as well.
It's Hillary Clinton who is the candidate here, not Bill Clinton. She was not implicated in any misconduct. She was not someone who was accused even of doing anything untoward with regard to these women.
Pretty despicable. Now fast forward 1 year, 2017. Despite this come to Jesus moment from some on the left, well, some are still today Clinton sympathizers in the press and the Democratic Party. They'll never give it up. Watch this.
He more than paid the price for what he did. The mere fact that he went through an impeachment process as president means that there will always be a shadow on the legacy of his presidency. So at least from my point of view, I think he's more than paid the price.
He didn't get away with anything. Okay? He was investigated, he was litigated, he was impeached. He had finally, after lying about the affair, admitted it, apologized multiple times in a very heartfelt way.
That's one of the many allegations against
those
him.
allegations.
Paula Jones, there's Jennifer Flowers, there's Juanita Roderick, there's Kathleen Willey, there's a bunch.
All of which were investigated, litigated, adjudicated.
Oh, we got a new left-wing talking point. That Bill Clinton paid the price for his sins. Now, the Clintons treated Bill's accusers horribly, systematically, did everything they could do to publicly shame them and smear them and slander them. In '92, during the presidential primaries, Jennifer Flowers revealed she had a 12-year affair with Bill Clinton. The Clinton campaign, remember, they had a war room, bimbo eruptions. They sprung into action, all to attack Flowers. And then Bill and Hillary, they show up on 60 Minutes. They deny the charges and went after Flowers' character. And the media, they never took it seriously. How do we know? Take a look at this clip from the documentary, The War Room. It shows how the press, the liberal media in this country, actually reacted to a question during that Flowers press conference. Watch them laugh.
Did the governor at any time tell you on telephone to just tell the truth about what
He told me to just deny it.
Governor couldn't use a condom? Jesus.
ladies and gentlemen, we're going to put this to a stop. If there are any further questions that are degrading, in my opinion, like that.
That's the media laughing. What did they find so funny? And to further smear Flowers, Hillary told Vanity Fair the following. Well, if we've been in front of a jury, I'd say, Miss Flowers, isn't it true you were asked by the AP in June of 1990 and you said no? Weren't you asked by the Arkansas Democrat and you said no? I mean, I would crucify her. Really, Hillary? Crucify her? What happened to believing her? Women have a right to be believed. Then in Carl Bernstein's book about Hillary's, well, he writes that Clinton would refer to Jennifer Flowers as trailer trash. Bill Clinton later admitted to having a sexual relationship with Flowers, and he admitted it only when he was under oath. Next up, Paula Jones. She accused Bill Clinton of exposing himself in a hotel room, and after filing a lawsuit against him, well, Clinton ended up paying Jones $850,000 with an out-of-court settlement. And in a related case, Clinton lost his law license in Arkansas for 5 years. The Clinton machine also went vicious after Jones, according to the New York Times and fake news CNN and other outlets. Longtime Clinton ally, CNN pundit for a while, James Carville. Remember, infamously said this about Jones: if you drag a $100 bill through a trailer park, you never know what you'll find. And Carville also slammed Jones by saying she only sued Clinton because of money. Then, of course, there's Monica Lewinsky, the White House intern, that had an affair with Bill Clinton, and just like the other accusers, well, Hillary had a nasty nickname for Lewinsky. According to a journal entry that was made public, Hillary's friend, Diane Blair, said Hillary called Lewinsky a, quote, narcissistic Looney Tune. And you have Kathleen Willey. She accused Bill Clinton in the Oval Office of groping and grabbing and fondling and touching and kissing her, all against her will, while she was a volunteer at the White House. Willey later said that Hillary enabled her husband's predatory behavior. And of course, we can't forget Juanita Broderick. She alleged that Bill Clinton raped her in 1978. Broderick also describes an encounter where Hillary tried to silence her. Well, that's who the Clintons are, who they've always been. What they did to these women is reprehensible. Clinton's 1992 presidential campaign came up with the term bimbo eruptions to describe the women who came forward and made accusations against Bill. Now, George Stephanopoulos wrote in his memoir that in '91, Hillary said, quote, we have to destroy her, when describing one of Bill's accusers. And speaking of George, well, watch how he handled one person who threatened to leak information about Bill Clinton to the press. Watch this.
What is names, addresses? I can send you a fax with names, addresses, phone numbers of who you had an affair with. It wouldn't make it true. It is completely. If you went on the radio and said that Bill Clinton is the father of an illegitimate black child, you would be laughed at. People would think you're crazy. I guarantee you that if you do this, you'll never work in Democratic politics again. Maybe you don't want to. I'm not saying it matters. You will be embarrassed before the National Press Corps. People will think, nobody will believe you, and people will think you're scummy. The alternative is you don't do it. It causes you some temporary pain with people who tomorrow aren't going to matter. And you have a campaign that understands that in a difficult time you did something right. And you know, that's important. I mean, it doesn't mean anything, or we can't do anything for you specifically or anything like that, but you know that you did the right thing.
Yeah, good morning, America. You'll never work again. You'll be embarrassed, blah, blah, blah. This is who the Clintons are. This is who they've been for 30 years. They're allies in the Democratic Party. They're friends in the media. They knew it. They did everything they could to cover it up and completely trash Bill's accusers up to and including last year's election. Is that inexcusable? The media also never reported that Hillary and her family foundation, I talked about it a lot last year, took tens of millions of dollars from countries that abuse women, kill gays and lesbians, persecute Christians and Jews, which is horrible. She took all that money. The Clintons literally, by taking it, endorsed that repressive behavior. They bought her silence, and the media, of course, all last year, they gave them a free pass. Now, so while it's nice to see that some on the left and in the media, well, now that the Clintons have no power, are only starting to admit how horrible the Clintons were to Bill's accusers, I argue it's a little too late. Here with reaction, CRTV host Michelle Malkin, former deputy assistant to the president, Fox News national security strategist Sebastian Gorka.